After it's not afternoon, but it's going to be if we have another glitch. Promise you, this is not on my end or on her end. It's with the software that we use as provided for this. It's been happening. So, anyways, Dr. Parmar just introduced herself and said she's been doing sleep apnea for about 15 years, and so if we get cut off again, Dr. Parmar, we'll probably reschedule this for a different time and do something a little bit different next time. But anyways, so Dr. Parmar, you've been treating sleep apnea for about 15 years. You've had several people who have come to your office who had a variety of different issues. And I remember one time you sent me a video of a man who had no sedation or anything. He just had no sleep, no rest, and he just like went to sleep in your chair automatically because he had breathing and sleep apnea issues. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the different cases that you see come into your office?
Absolutely, John. There are so many people out there who are sleepy and don't even know that they are sleepy. That is one of those things that we actually wear sleep deprivation as a Boy Scout merit badge on our clothing and run around. But nature is going to do, the minute I put them down in my chair and they relax, the brain gives up and they just snooze away. I used to think at that point that I am the greatest dentist on earth, that these people are snoozing and snoring away while I'm doing this dentistry, a lot of other work that I used to do before I just switched to sleep. And then I realized, boy, these people are really, really sick people. They need my help. They are going to die without air if somebody does not help this. And so I just started looking for signs and symptoms and guiding these patients to get at least diagnosed.
That's awesome, Dr. Parmar. And I tell you, it's just worth it to get it done. So, Dr. Parmar, let's start with some of the questions that people have asked, and hopefully we'll get through some of these here and this broadcast not get cut off again. Pardon me. We had about 12 questions submitted. So are you ready, Dr. Parmar?
Absolutely, John.
All right. All right. So one of the first questions that got sent in was, it said, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea 8 years ago. I was doing good, but now I developed severe sinus and allergy problems. My nose always clogs up, and I cannot use the mask anymore. I had septoplasty done, but that didn't help at all. How can this help me?
And one of the requirements, John, for any treatment for sleep apnea to work is that you can breathe clearly through your nose. It seems like the person who asked the question has gone to an ENT. Unfortunately, allergies have to be maintained by the allergist so your nose doesn't get clogged up. But if you cannot use CPAP machine, you definitely have a choice to use an oral device and use all the other side effects that are there may still be there, but we have to help this person get through by clearing their nose. I know he had septoplasty, but there could be hypertrophic turbinates in there. The nasal collapse may be happening. So there's adjunctive aids that can be used, but if he cannot use CPAP, oral device is definitely his mode of treatment to investigate and get it done.
Awesome, Dr. Parmar. You know, and that seems to be an issue with a lot of people who have sleep apnea, do wear the CPAP. I know, and even now, we see a lot of advertisement. I know I'm seeing it in my area here. We see a lot of advertisement for a special machine that costs $300 to $400. It's not covered by insurance. It's out of pocket expense, at least the ones to clean the CPAP. And if you don't keep it clean, then bacteria can build up in the hose and in the mask, and you can begin to develop some of these. I mean, I know people that wore the CPAP wake up with real severe headaches, and then when you go to looking at their machine, they're not changing stuff out properly and all of that sort of thing. And so it can cause some health issues. Do you see that regularly in your practice, Dr. Parmar?
Well, I do see a lot of patients who have upper respiratory infections, sinus infections coming from CPAP. And my first question to them is, how often are you cleaning the machines? How often are the filters changed? How often is your CPAP? Because even the masks develop little resistance to oils from your skin. So there's too many factors. And John, I have my mom who is on the CPAP who I could not give oral device to. I would have done it in a heartbeat, but I had to clean those things every single day. And we are just humans. It is a lot of work to be able to do so. Unfortunately, those bacteria that fester in the hoses and the masks, in the room air where the filters are not changed behind the machine, can give us and reinfect us, where we continuously are getting these infections and we don't know how to clear them. But we are re-inoculating ourselves. So yes, we do see that often.
Wow. So let me ask you this. The oral appliance doesn't require special machines and stuff. How does a person clean the oral appliance?
Well, oral appliance is basically, if you have ever worn retainers or you have some partial dentures, you just need to simply clean with a toothbrush like you clean your teeth and put it in a container, just like regular retainers. They don't need any extra special. Absolutely, you have to keep it clean. Just like you take care of your teeth, you would take care of your oral device, the same manner.
Awesome. I've already learned something I didn't know just answering that one question right there. And I'm a professional learner by trade. That's what I tell everybody. I love to learn. The next question we got, Dr. Parmar, was, I have sleep apnea but cannot wear the mask because it's uncomfortable, and I have to sleep in a recliner. I've heard this one a bunch of times. I have to sleep in a recliner. Will this work as good as the CPAP, and does it have the same benefits?
Let me answer the second question first, John. The benefits of oral device and CPAP on health are equal. Whether the oral device will work for the individual is going to be dependent on so many factors that it needs to be evaluated. If you're severe, are you obese? Are you, what is your neck size? So when whoever evaluates has to be able to give them a perspective on what is going to work. And I tell everybody, oral devices always work, because as soon as you stabilize the jaw, half your battle is over with. If they're sleeping on a recliner, you are telling me, John, that the CPAP pressures are so high, you're sleeping in a wind tunnel. And to make it easier to help, you're helping yourself half, almost 3/4 of the way, just like an oral device by sleeping on a recliner. That is nature's way of accommodating. So you definitely will benefit, if not 100% just by, depending on all the different criteria with oral device, at least by combination, you will be much better off.
Wow. I know, most people wind up in the recliner not because it's necessarily more comfortable, but it's because their spouse elbowed them. Got them out of there because they can't stand the snoring or the noise or something along that line. And we've often said, matter of fact, and I say it often, if you have sleep apnea, your spouse has it too. And whether they snore or not, what's going on with you is affecting them. And I tell you, Dr. Parmar, just briefly, how many people's relationships have you seen that were affected just by snoring or not being able to sleep? Affected a husband and wife's relationship?
I will tell you almost 100%. Every single patient who walks in, the relationship is affected. Whether the bed partner walks out from the bedroom is a different scenario. It's again adaptation. So some we have learned to live with it. Most have learned to adapt to it. But people, I hear it. I've had a grandmother who said took my granddaughter on a trip and she slept in the bathtub. My snoring was so bad. I've had couples tell me we went on our wedding anniversary, 25th wedding anniversary at Ritz-Carlton, and I slept on the sofa while he slept on the bed. So you hear this every single day, and that's what I told you before. It's called kicking the bear out of your bedroom. Unless you work at it, it's not going to happen.
Wow. And I know for a fact, I've had friends that had sleep apnea and snored so loud. My son one night thought my friend, he thought there was a wild animal outside. He snored so bad. And, we used to laugh about, I used to tease my sister when I was growing up. Matter of fact, I made her mad one year at Christmas time. I had gotten one of those, this is back when it was cassette recorders. You remember the old cassette recorders? You had to put the tape in and all of that. I had gotten one for Christmas and she was snoring so loud. I recorded her on that tape and they played it for all the family. She was so bad, but we didn't know it at that time, but she had problems in her throat that was causing that. And today she's being treated for sleep apnea. And really the signs of it was back when she was a child and up into her teenage years. And so, even though we laugh about snoring and how it may force one of us out of the bedroom and into the recliner or on the couch, the fact is it really is a sign that should not be overlooked. And it's time to get a diagnosis if you're really snoring like that and that loud for sure. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Parmar?
Absolutely. Loud snorers that are untreated lose 10 years out of their life before they start the treatment. And wow. It's unfortunate. We have more snorers today than patients with diabetes, asthma, or cancer. And wow. We still haven't tackled this disease as much as we should.
And that's why I'm loving these live casts. I know we had a couple of glitches today, but I love the live casts, and I do a lot of them personally myself. It's because I really want to educate the public as to what's going on with this. And I know that's your heart, and you've mentioned it several times, is to not just try to get patients to come in and get something going, but it really is a matter of life and death. And you cannot put a price on your life. You cannot put a price on the life of your loved one, your child, your spouse. You cannot put a price on them. I couldn't do without my wife or kids. I love my wife and kids, but they want me to stick around too. And predominantly because they like me getting them stuff. But they want me to stick. They want me to stick around. I want to stick around. That's why I've been taking some control over my own health issues. And one reason why I had to get treated for sleep apnea was because my wife would tell me I would quit breathing 45, 50 seconds out of a minute sometimes. And she's just punching me, John, wake up. You're not breathing, And then I would wake up, my throat was sore, my nose was sore. Mm-hmm. I had tons of issues. And thank God that I got that treated. And so this is really about education to help you get to the place to where, pardon me, that you need to get treatment. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Dr. Palmer, another question that was sent in says, I have severe sleep apnea. Can this device help me when I have such a severe case?
Yes, the device definitely helps in severe cases, and especially the whole American Academy of Sleep Medicine used to say that for severe sleep apneas, because the damage it is doing to your heart, your body, your different organs in your body, CPAP should be the first line of defense. But if you become CPAP intolerant, what are your options? You do have to try. I have personally treated several sleep apnea patients who are severe and have resolved 100%. Some of them, like I said, it's all individual based. If you are heavy base and 300-pound person with a severe sleep apnea, we may have to do combination therapy, and one mode of treatment is not going to work. It's the same like you have blood pressure that is not under control. You need 2 or 3 medications to control it. The same way as with sleep apnea, if CPAP alone or combination may be used to help you control it better and make you more compliant. The whole treatment is if you cannot tolerate CPAP, you need help, and how can we help you?
Awesome. And that's what it's about. It's about getting people the help that they need. Another question, Dr. Parmar, that came in said, I have had one sleep study done a few years ago. Do I have to have another sleep study done? And do I need one for this device?
Yes, John. If the study was done a few years ago, there's several things that changes. You have aged, your health may have changed, you may have put on some weight, we don't know. You want to battle the enemy at the time that you are facing it. So yes, you do need a new sleep study. And once that sleep study is done to see what level of sleep apnea you have, and then choose the treatment. So my answer to that question is yes, you do need an updated sleep study.
Awesome. Now, another thing about the sleep study, Dr. Parmar, a lot of people don't understand, and we want to make sure that they do understand is you don't just walk into the office and get a device and all of that. There is a protocol that a person needs to go through in order to get the absolute best treatment. And we describe, and if you're watching this and later on you want to get some information, go to sleepbettermaryland.com. Where Dr. Parmar's website, there's actually a questionnaire on there you can fill out. There's a lot of information that can help you make a better decision on the sleepbettermaryland.com website. So head over there after the live cast is over and check out the website there, fill out the form, make personal contact right there. You can do that with Dr. Parmar. You can make personal contact there. But there is a protocol of some procedures that you need to go through. And like you say, if they have a sleep test and they did it like 8 years ago, they probably need to have another one done. Dr. Parmar, could you explain the options for getting a sleep study done?
It used to be, we used to have lots of options, John, but not anymore. Now the choices are going to be on patients' insurance. We used to do most of our studies in lab, which means you were wired up, you had to sleep at a different place in a sleep lab and were observed. That is still the gold standard. I mean, it definitely gives us the best that we need and want. Unfortunately, the insurance industry dictates whether we can or cannot. So now there's more of a home sleep test, and there's pros and cons to both. So at-home sleep study gives you the options to sleep in your own bed and be comfortable and get the results. The con part of home sleep study doesn't measure all the parameters that we actually need to read. But the bottom line is you want to get diagnosed, and whichever mode, which is the easiest, fastest way for you to get it done, is the best way to handle it.
Awesome. So if you are watching this video at any time and and you think you may have sleep apnea, either you were diagnosed a long time ago, several years ago, you haven't had a current sleep study, or you're watching this for the first time and you go, I do snore. I wake up gasping, choking for air. My throat is sore. I'm having problems. My spouse is punching me, telling me to get up out of the bed and all of that. Dr. Parmar, if you'll contact her office today, don't hesitate, but contact her office today and go to the sleepbettermaryland.com website, contact information. There's a questionnaire on there, a place for you to send your contact information. But just right quickly, Dr. Parmar, before we go to the next question, could you tell us the address and the phone number or do you want me to do it?
You probably have it in front of you.
I'm close to having it in front of me here. I will have in less than 2 seconds, probably. Yes, I do. If you go to sleepbettermaryland.com, of course, there's a lot of information on there. But the phone number to call Dr. Parmar on is 443-535-6989. That's 443-535-6989. And her office is located at 12620 Clarksville Pike, Clarksville, Maryland, which is like a suburb of Baltimore there. Clarksville Pike, Maryland. Clarksville Pike is the road, 12620 Clarksville Pike, Clarksville, Maryland, 21029. And again, the phone number is 443-535-6989 that you can call directly to Dr. Parmar's office and get something set up. And they'll be happy to hold your hand and walk you through any process in order to get you treated, answer your questions. She's been doing it for 15 years, so I'm sure that there is something that pretty much anything's probably come across her way in 15 years. We had one person pop on here and says, I can't, even has the same last name. And he says, thanks for treating me. I have also started losing weight after using the oral appliance device. Man, that's awesome. And that happened to me when I got my CPAP first time several years ago. I started treating my sleep apnea. I dropped 40 pounds almost overnight, it seemed like, just simply because my body was able to reboot and heal itself. So if you want to call Dr. Parmar, again, visit sleepbettermaryland.com. There's a lot of good information up there to help you. Next question, Dr. Parmar, let's see. And this is one of the top questions that always gets asked. Does insurance cover this device?
Yes, John, it does cover. The hardest part is finding somebody who is participating, and it's just at the initial stage where a lot of dentists will need to get in network. It is still hard to get in network, but insurance does cover it.
Awesome. So I know your staff is knowledgeable and capable of helping people walk through that process. So next question, Dr. Parmar. Do I need a prescription for this device like I did for the CPAP?
Yes, you do. You have to ask your physician to write a prescription to treat all sleep apnea with oral device, custom fitted oral device, and you will take it to the dentist that is treating sleep apnea.
Okay. I don't know if that's true in all states, but I guess true there in Maryland that I'm not sure. I live in Louisiana. I don't recall having to get a prescription here, but I may have. They may have done all that for me. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yes, but, John.
Awesome. So, Dr. Parmar, I'm glad because you're knowledgeable. I'm learning stuff all the time. I'm thankful for that. All right. The next question we have, um, this is a great question. It basically just, how does the oral appliance stop the snoring?
Um, this is $1 million question, John. Imagine your airway as a water hose pipe that is kinked, and the air is vibrating from the back of your throat, creating that snoring sound. It basically is turbulence of airway going into your body that is making those sounds. With oral device, we open up that airway and create a wider diameter around your back of your throat, so it prevents making the sounds. With CPAP, we muffle it. With oral device, we control it. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's interesting. With and I love that analogy. You're so good, Dr. Parmar, at putting it in terms I can understand, because I have to deal with a kinked water hose almost every day outside. It's crazy. And that's really what it is. You know, the soft tissue in the back of the throat, in the back of the throat, falls down in your airway. And when we talk, Dr. Parmar, if I remember correctly, when I was at your office, don't you have some kind of a thing that explains all of that? Some kind of a
Yes, a
little
model.
tool, a
Yes,
model,
we do.
and all of that. So when we really sit down next time and we really discuss the oil appliance itself, Dr. Parmar, would you bring that thing on and just kind of give a little demonstration and show what is actually happening during an apneic episode?
Absolutely.
Because I think when you show that and you tell what actually is happening during an apneic episode, that it will maybe trigger some people to go, man, that's what's happening to me. I might need to go get diagnosed. And so a lot of people understand is going and how it works. And so awesome. The next question, Dr. Parmar, says, is there a possibility that it might not work for me?
That is always a possibility. Again, just like different medications we have to try and see, if one treatment doesn't work, we have to find what is going to work for this particular patient. That is why we are genetically wired differently, and we need to have customized treatment. So does oral device work for every single patient to give 100% results? No. Some patients, we may need combination therapy. It definitely helps holding the jaw stable, but there is a lot more to sleep apnea with the neurology, physiology, anatomy that has to be taken into consideration. And that's why you want to go to an expert who deals in this particular treatment of this disease.
Awesome. And so and I know of people that use both the CPAP and the oral device, because like you said, Dr. Parmar, there is something to be said for stabilizing the jaw. Even when you wear the CPAP, if you don't have the oral appliance, your mouth can be moving. You can still, the CPAP stands for continuous positive airway pressure. It is basically jamming air down your nose, down your throat to keep that soft tissue pushed up out of the throat. And with the oral appliance, by advancing the jaw forward, tell me if I'm wrong, that if it's a real severe case, they still have to use the CPAP along with the oral appliance. It's actually allowing them a little bit more air by keeping the jaw forward, and it's not working so hard to make air pass that soft tissue, correct?
Right, and that is the whole purpose. The CPAP pressure is set up from 4 centimeters to almost 20 centimeters. And the higher we go, we do have a little cutoff. Beyond 12, 15, 16 centimeters, the compliance rate goes down tremendously, because unless you feel miserable, you are not going to be putting that mask on and sleeping in that wind tunnel. We were just not meant as humans to sleep with the artificial air going into our body in that manner. That is one of the survival modes we have learned how to do. And that's why people become CPAP intolerant.
Wow. And I know because my CPAP was set very high, very high. And my wife said what night I was, this is kind of funny because when I first started wearing the CPAP to get treatment, before I knew about all these other things, my wife said my mouth would fall open and it sounded like a tornado trying to come blowing out of there because it was blowing down my nose and blow out my mouth and all of that. And then one night I was laying there and she likes to keep the bedroom like at 61 degrees and the humidity. And I rolled over and water went up my nose. I thought I was drowning. It was terrible. It was terrible. So, there's a lot of different factors there. So, Dr. Parmar, let's look. Here's a good question for you. It says, how many visits to the office will it be for the appliance?
If I have to average those out, John, normally 7 to 10. Now, some of the severe patients, we have to work with all the peripherals, and it takes almost a year to get the results that we are looking for to bring back health. So, but on an average, 7 to 10.
Awesome, Dr. Parmar. The one thing I like about you, Dr. Parmar, is you want to get it right. You know, a lot of people will run you in and out of the office over things like this, but you want to actually restore people's health. And I love that about you. I love that about what you do there. And if anybody who's watching this and will watch this thing thinks I've just decided to do this with Dr. Parmar one day, I've been to her office, and I've also received steady lectures from her about my own stuff, man. I look to her for answers because this is what she does. This is what she loves, and she's concerned about people's health. And I'm grateful to know you. I am. I really am. All right, let's see. Here's one, and when this question got asked, I never even thought about this, Dr. Parmar. I never even thought about this. Here's a question, and it's probably a simple answer, but it says, does the appliance ever have to be replaced?
Yes, and yes, and yes. Normally, it all depends. I have had a patient who has been wearing the device for 10 years, and I haven't replaced it yet. I have had patients who lost the devices, leaving it on the roof of their car or in a hotel room, or the dog ate it away, or cat thought it was a chew toy. So all different things for different reasons, but on an average, 3 to 5 years, as we change our anatomy, our health, our age, we will need to change the devices, and our jaw changes. It is amazing how much more airflow happens and how your jaw adapts as we move the jaw forward.
Awesome. I had never even thought about that. I know a lot of people with the oral appliance. Matter of fact, Dr. Parmar, I know a lady that travels a lot who has the oral appliance, and if she leaves it at home, she'll call her husband and have him ship it to her overnight. So because she just can't sleep without it. And man, what a difference it makes. Some people go, well, Dr. Parmar, John, I've been sleeping like this for a long time. I've just kind of gotten used to not sleeping, and once you've grown used to doing something for a long time, a lot of times it's not top of mind anymore. It's not a concern for you. But yet I mean, it's really, really important to get this because a lot of people don't understand, Dr. Parmar. Could you briefly, before we go to the next question, because I think this is so important, could you just briefly discuss and give us some highlights of how sleep apnea affects the organs of the body and the deterioration, the it how it speeds up deterioration and takes away life basically from your organs.
Well, basically, air in your body is just another physiologic requirement, John, like air, like food, water, we need to have air to breathe. Actually, it is more important than food. If you don't get good enough sleep without air, you die faster than if I deprive you of food. So it is very, very critical that air goes into your body, and that's why sleep deprivation and air go hand in hand. Lack of air go hand in hand. It's a two-side process. You sleep, your airway gets kinked, your heart has to still pump oxygen head to toe. So when it doesn't have any air going, it tells your brain, hey, John, wake up, buddy. I don't have any air. It's like I told you, it's a CPR. So you have to wake up and take a big gasp of air so heart gets it. But when it doesn't get it, it's trying to compensate with pumping hard, which starts to give you high blood pressure. Go a little further, it can give you heart attacks. Go even further, you have strokes. So the heart has to do all these processes for that reason. For the same reason the arteries have to work hard, it starts to harden up, giving you high cholesterol. The endothelial lining, the little cells in those blood vessels have to open up and they become hardened as you're pumping so hard. Now, every time, how does the heart wake up the brain? It pumps in adrenaline and cortisol. What are these hormones? They are fight or flight response. Remember, if I make a bear run behind you, what does your body do? It runs to save its life. It's the same exact hormone that gets released in your body, which creates a lot of anxiety. It's a stress hormone. What do you do when you're under stress, John? Eat a ton of high carbohydrate foods, right? Your comfort foods. What is it doing? It basically imbalances your hormones, your leptin, ghrelin hormones. And you eat that comfort food, high carb food to help yourself. Then you go crash again. You eat again the wrong kind of foods. So it basically creates imbalance in your body from all your endocrine system to your systems of cerebrovascular, which is your blood vessels. And it just throws your body into complete stress mode all the time.
That is, man, I keep learning so much. I think also, Dr. Parmar, we need to talk about how diet, at some point, we'll do this in another show, how diet can help with sleep apnea. It's really a big part of it. Sugary stuff. I'm under the opinion, of course, I read recent research, and actually they showed some brain waves of people's brains who compared them to people who are addicted to sugar and those who are addicted to crack cocaine. The addiction area was stronger with sugar than it was with a drug. And a lot of people don't understand that these types of diets can affect the way we sleep. And all of that is so important. And you can, as when you're listening and watching this, you're going to find out this is really a vast subject. It's not a one and done type deal. There's so much information, and that's why you definitely need to see an expert in the area of sleep apnea, because like Dr. Parmar said, everybody's anatomy, their habits, their eating habits, their how they work, all of these different things really tell a story about you and about your health. And Dr. Parmar needs to hear your story in order to get you the right, not just the right diagnosis, but the right treatment plan so that you can get back to a healthier and better life. So uh, that's why you need to call her. Call Dr. Parmar. Call her today. I love that I can switch back and forth here. Call her today at 443-535-6989. 443-535-6989. Or go to the sleepbettermaryland.com website. So there's a lot of information on there, a lot of information, and that will be helpful to you. A couple more questions, Dr. Parmar, and we're done here. One person asked, how long does it take to adapt to the oral appliance?
John, it varies from person to person. I had a patient who just adapts like Dr. Water. One night they say, I've worn retainers. This is a piece of cake. And just like you described it, I look at this treatment as a freedom device for treatment of sleep apnea. They love it. They adapt. Some people, it takes them a while if they're not used to having something in their mouth. And the way I describe it is I'm giving you an artificial arm. I'm giving your brain has to adapt. It took you whatever age, how many years you've had it to develop this disease. I don't have a magic wand to clear it out overnight. But if you are patient and persistent, we will get there. Treating with an oral device is a marathon. It's not a race. It's giving your body a chance to heal, your brain to know I have more air coming in, to adapt. It's a plastic tissue. It has to learn, relearn, rewire everything. And you will realize what difference it starts to make as you start to use it. So each person is different, but it isn't difficult. It is a lot less than adapting to CPAP. Let's put it that way.
Wow. I can't tell you how many people I personally talk to who haven't dreamed in years, haven't reached that level of sleep because their brain and all jolts them to wake up every night because they're not breathing, and they don't know what it is to have a good night's sleep all night long, and how that affects them and restores their body. I'm reading a book right now, and I had a doctor tell me, he said, John, you almost know as much as some doctors do. 'Cause I read this stuff all the time. I've got a book down here just on the benefits of sleep, and then sleep and stress and all these different things. And man, it was just such an eye opener to see how sleep basically is like pushing the reboot button on a computer that comes back up. When you restart your computer, it clears out what's called the cache. And what that is, the cache is the memory of everything that you have done that day, kind of gets stored in this cache. Where you've gone on the internet, what you've done is all in there. And it stores particular files down in there. But the thing is, it can store corrupted files just like it can incorrupted files. And your body's basically the same way. Your environment is contributing to a whole lot of things going on with you, and your system needs to reboot. And that's the purpose of sleep, is to reboot us and help us to manage things the next day better than we did the day before. We got to let it heal ourselves. And there's so much, man. I'm looking forward to doing more of these with you, Dr. Parmar. Last question. Last question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Will it hurt my teeth in any way?
Oh, I would pay you $1 every time I hear that question, John. And my answer to that question is, if you are alive, I can fix any teeth in your mouth. If you are dead and 6 feet underground, there is nothing for me to worry about. So No, it does not hurt teeth. If you are using teeth as a mode of hanging or using it to help with putting our oral device in your mouth, does it hurt teeth? No. Teeth are just the way they are. If you have caps, it's just like anything else. You eat, you chew, you swallow, you break teeth. All those things are there. It's not because of the device.
So I do know this, and could you just talk about this briefly? The condition of your teeth and the condition of your bite and that sort of thing can affect the effectiveness of the device. So you may have to have some things corrected in order to get the maximum benefit out of the devices. Am I correct in that, Dr. Parmar?
No, we have certain basic criteria. If you are telling me to think like a dentist and have every tooth restored and perfect, it's not going to happen. If they're going to break, you're going to eat, you're going to chew, all those things are norm. But we need healthy teeth, certain number of teeth to be able to put the device in. On the priority list, keeping you alive and awake is more important with sleep apnea than looking at the conditions of your teeth. I wear two separate hats. If I think like a dentist, I can't treat you for your sleep apnea because it's a two different way of total thinking. You have to broaden your horizon. When I'm treating sleep apnea, I tell myself, stop thinking like a dentist. That's my motto.
Well, I do. And the reason I ask that question is because a couple of doctors that I know that work with people with sleep apnea and oral appliance therapy, they do want to see the teeth in decent shape for some reason. And I guess
they absolutely need to be in decent shape. I'm not denying that part of it, but they don't have to be in perfect shape. I mean, because that you just have to work, but you have to fight the enemy that is facing you, like looking right in your face. Teeth we can fix and we can retrofit the device to it.
Awesome. Well, this has been so informative, Dr. Parmar. We've gone through about 12 questions here that people asked, and I learned so much just listening to you and talk about this. And I always garner something that I didn't know before, and I'm grateful for that. And that goes to you, Dr. Parmar, and how much time and effort you have put in to learning and then taking what you have learned and implementing that in the lives of people whose health has been broken down by this serious disease. Sleep apnea, my friends, is not something to ignore. Not being able to sleep at night, gasping, choking when you wake up, sore throats all the time, sinus infections all the time, all these different things that are going. These are not things to be ignored. Do not ignore them. Those things are warning signs. I mean, I'm talking from my perspective, but Dr. Parmar, I would not be if I had pain in my body, severe pain in my body, I wouldn't ignore that. I'd want to know what it is, and I need to get it fixed, right?
Right.
Because pain is a notification that something is wrong. There's an enemy present in the body, and pain is a notification that something is wrong. And when you have severe pain, especially if it lasts any period of time, you're going to go to the doctor. You're going to get it done. Well, sleep apnea is just like you wouldn't ignore pain. You don't want to ignore not being able to sleep. You don't want to ignore that snoring. Matter of fact, I have some friends here that have a company that provides the in-home sleep studies. And their radio commercial says, you need to find out if there could be more to that snore. And I never forget that. And you definitely, if you're snoring, if your spouse is snoring loudly, And in Dr. Parmar's own testimony, her husband said to her, "I'm worried because you're quitting breathing at night." And we've all experienced that who have gotten our sleep apnea treated, and we've had tests and all that. We experience that. You don't breathe. When you don't breathe, the damage it causes your body, you should not ignore that. Should never ignore that. Dr. Parmar, do you have any final comments for us before we leave this live webcast today that has taken some effort to put on today?
No, John. My mission is to make people aware. And that is what I am doing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so, John. And I'm happy to do so.
Well, awesome. And I'm so grateful to know you and what you're doing, and so thankful that people are actually, excuse me, actually getting some help. And so again, if you need to contact Dr. Parmar, you can do so by going to the sleepbettermaryland.com website. That's sleepbettermaryland.com. Or you can call her. And call today. Don't waste any time. Call her at 443-535-6989. And if you go to the website, at the bottom of the homepage there's a simple form there right underneath the address that you can start a conversation there. There's another one at the top there where you can just put your name and email in, and we'll get that. And or you can just call her again at 443-535-6989. And she's located at 12620 Clarksville Pike, Clarksville, Maryland, 21029. And so she treats people from all over the area. And again, if you want to fly in, she'll treat you for that too. She'll do that. So God bless all of you for coming and watching. And if you have any further questions, submit them in the comment. Go to the website and submit them, or submit them in the comments section below this live video. And you're gonna see it because we're gonna promote it here on Facebook. Make sure it reaches its maximum target audience, because that's what we do. We want people to be educated and informed about sleep apnea and what is happening in their body as a result of sleep apnea. So, Dr. Parmar, thank you. I have enjoyed this so much. I get excited every time. I was made for talking, you know. I was made for talking. God bless all of you. Glad that you showed up. And again, if you need anything, call Dr. Parmar. Visit her website, sleepbettermaryland.com, and they'll be happy, more than happy. They have wonderful staff there, people that really care. And I know there's a lot of people whose websites say, we care, we're the best, we're this, we're that. But I'm going to tell you something. If you hadn't heard Dr. Parmar's heart today, and know that she really loves what she does and loves helping people, man. Oh, it's amazing. So bless you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Dr. Parmar.
Thank you,
and
John.
we'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.